Hello, Accelerated Math 7-8 students. We are working in Module 14, and this is Lesson 7, and it is called Classifications of Solutions. Classifications of Solutions. All right, and here are our notes to start with. Our goal for today we will learn what happens when you get solutions other than just one solution. Now, all of you have been going, but Mrs. Nelson, you told us that there could only be one solution, and I'm sorry for getting that out of focus. Let me fix it because it was really hard for you to see. Okay. Yes, I did tell you that, and there are times where you're going to see, and I'm very, very leery to tell you this because it's happened so many times that when I teach this lesson to kids, they go, oh, well, then we don't have to solve for it because there's no solution. Okay? There is a time in mathematics when you will be working to solve for the variable, and when you get it all finished and simplified as into the smallest terms that you could, that you're going to find out that there's no solution. You're also going to find out that there is a time when there is exactly one solution, and then you're also going to find out a time when there are many solutions. Okay, and we're going to talk about that today. So the question I want you to be thinking about is, are there things to look for when classifying solutions? And if you think so, what? All right. So let's take a closer look. Your job for the last couple of lessons has been to solve for the variable, and we've been using x. X is the highest used variable because it's the easiest, and it's everybody uses it, so it's very easy to recognize as the most common variable. That's completely beside the fact. We don't really need to worry about it. Okay, let's try it. So we're going to remember all of the steps that we've been working on to come up with solving for the variable in each of these problems. So we're looking at this one. There's nothing to distribute. So then my next task is I have to have the variable on the same side. This is 7 positive x's. This is 2 positive x's. It's going to be a lot easier to move those 2 positives. So I'm going to subtract off the 2 x's to break it off of this constant. So what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So that's the first step. This is creating a zero pair. I'm left with 7 on the left-hand side of the equation. 7x minus 2 of their x's gives us 5x minus 8. Okay, now we're going to use the build and undo chart. Okay, jumping right in using the same skills that we've been doing. Variable is x, multiply by 5, subtract 8. So I'm going to add 8, I'm going to divide by 5, and I'm left with x. Okay, so I add 8 to both sides. That works out pretty well. Zero pair, 5x equals 15. Now I have to divide both sides by 5, and I know that x is equal to 3. Okay, very good. That one wasn't so bad, see? Okay, now let's try the middle one, see what happens. Okay, so we have, again, 2x's here, 7x's here. So again, I'm going to combine the x's to being on the same side of the equal sign. So I made a zero pair with those guys. I'm left with 7 equals 5x plus 7 this time. Okay, so build an undo chart. My variable is x. First thing that I did was I multiplied it by 5. This time I added 7. So I'm going to subtract 7. I'm going to divide by 5, and I'm going to be left with x. So I'm going to subtract 7. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Zero pair, zero pair. Oh no, I have 0 equals 5x. Okay, divide by 5. Can you divide nothing by 5? Can you? If you have nothing, can you divide it by 5? No. So what we have learned right here is there is no solution. Can't do it. Take it. Do a calculator. Check it. Here's a calculator. Let me find one. We got to prove this so that you guys believe me. It's like that Siri thing. When you ask Siri, how do you divide, whatever. I can't even remember what it is that you guys find. It's so funny. Cookie Monster. Okay, so let's try it. This says take 0 and divide it by 5. 0 divided by 5. Okay? So it's basically saying that you have 0 groups, right? 0 groups, and you divide them into 5. Well, if you don't have anything, can you divide anything by 5? You have nothing to divide. So it doesn't really work. 0 divided by 5. I'm trying it on a different one. Okay, there's nothing to divide. All right, so that's why we're going to come up with no solution, because there isn't a value of x that is going to make 0 groups to divide, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's check out the next one and see if we figure out something else. Let's try this side. Okay, so this time it says that we have x's on both sides. Ooh, they're exactly the same. Okay, so if I take x and subtract off the two x's here, then we get a 0 here and a 0 here, and 7 equals 7. Oh, interesting. So this one has a definite solution, and that solution means that there is only one value for x, and that value is 3. So this one we're going to call a 1 solution. Okay. This one, it looks like there's no solution, because you can never take 0 and divide it by something, because if you have 0 pencils, how can you give them to 5 kids? So there's no solution there. And then this one, it could be any value, right? So let's try it this way. Let's rewrite this problem. 2x plus 7 equals 7 plus 2x. What if I told you that x is 1? Well, 2 plus 7 is 9. 2 plus 7 is 9. Oh. What if I tell you that x is 24? 48 plus 7 is 55. 48 plus 7 is 55. Oh, so did it have to be exact? Could it be 1? Could it be 10? Could it be 45? Could it be 24? We just proved that it could be anything. So this one right here is infinitely, whatever number you want, try it. It can go forever. Infinitely many solutions. More than one. Lots and lots and lots. Infinitely many. I don't know if I spelled infinitely right, but I think that's right. Okay, infinitely many solutions. So I want you to look at the patterns. Okay, look at the patterns. What do you notice about the 3 equations? Well, this equation has exactly one answer. This equation can't be solved. You cannot divide 0, because 0 is nothing. And then this one, it didn't matter what value we said. We said that x could be 1. We said that x could be 10. We said that x could be 24, and it still worked. So 1, 10, and 24 are all different numbers, so that's telling us that there are infinitely many different solutions. We could put a -1 in there. We could put a -27 in there, and we would still come up with the same answer. So that's why this one has lots and lots of solutions. This only has one, and this has none. Okay? So basically what we're learning is these 3 equations, you saw it, they're all different. 2x plus 7 equals 7x minus 8. 2x plus 7 equals 7x plus 7. 2x plus 7 equals 7 plus 2x. They're all different equations, and they all come up with different types of answers. Okay? So this whole lesson is about the 3 different types of solutions that you can come up with. That's why it's called classifications of solutions. So the 3 types of solutions are 1 solution, no solution, and infinitely many solutions. So what did we learn about 1 solution? 1 solution means there is exactly one value for the variable to make the equation true. Exactly one value to make the equation true. So in this case, this one, the exact value had to be 3. So there is exactly one value for the variable to make the equation true. All right, on the second one that we came up with no solution, we're going to write there is no solution that the variable can be to make the equation true. Not possible. You cannot take 0 and divide it into 5 equal groups. There's nothing there to divide, so you cannot do that. So no solution. There is no solution that the variable can be to make the equation true. Okay? And then on the last one, infinitely many solutions, we could put in any value for the variable, and the equation will still be true. Okay? There are many, infinitely many, so forever. There are forever many solutions for the variable to make the equation true. All right. So your whole job in this lesson, when you get into school, is you're going to have to solve for the variable, and you're going to see that when you get done working through the entire problem, doing all the steps that we've been practicing, you're going to come up with the idea that there's exactly one solution, there are infinitely many solutions, or there are no solutions at all. And that's what you're going to discover by working on the practice in this lesson. Okay? So, going back to our goal, today we will learn what happens when we get solutions other than just one solution. What are they? One solution, no solution, infinitely many. The question, are there things to look for when classifying solutions? If so, what? Definitely, right here. Are they solvable down to telling what the variable equals so that it's balanced on both sides? That is a big hint. When you get to looking for patterns, if you subtract off the variable and it's gone, poof, and the only thing you're left with is the constant equals the constant, then you know then it's infinitely many. If you know that the variable equals exactly one number, then that's one solution. And if you're trying to divide 0, you can't. Because when you have nothing, you can't break it up into groups. Okay? All right, my darlings, that's all I have for you in this lesson, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye!